Hello, it's the Friday Talkie, and it's going to be a very, very off the top of my head Friday Talkie. I've had quite a bit going on this week that has kept me very busy, and well, as you'll have noticed, I missed doing a video one day this week. I can't remember what day it was. Yeah, so my head has not entirely been on gaming, so I don't know what I'm going to talk about. Well, no, that's not true, I do, but I'm making it up as I go along, like more than usual. I'm always doing this unscripted, but I'm not even completely sure the points that I want to make today, so it's just me going blah badly, so you can see what it looks like. Okay, first thing I want to talk about, do you remember quite some months ago there were a number of videos that went around on YouTube within the, I don't know if you would call it gaming community or retro gaming community, where people were saying the community is dying, and I was like, yeah right, whatever, you're just looking in the wrong places. You will also know maybe that I have a directory on my website. I do a directory of YouTube retro gaming channels, and every once in a while I go through that list, not just updating it as in I add stuff, but I also check I did this recently. I checked every single channel that I was linking to and found something that quite surprised me. I had to remove about 200 links. I'm estimating 200. It was a lot. It was into the hundreds fairly easily. Possibly half of those channels had just plain gone. The rest had either moved into doing other things that weren't retro gaming and so made them not relevant for being listed, and the other ones had just stopped making videos. They were still there, but they were inactive, or the people may be active within the community, commenting, watching videos and whatever, but they just plain weren't making videos anymore. And I thought, okay, yeah, that's not really surprising. It had been a long while since I had gone through it all, but I figure there will be as many new ones to replace it. I've got a whopping great big list of, you know, the email notifications that you get when someone subscribes to you, and this is how I add channels to that thing. Whenever someone subscribes, I go look at their channel, and if they've got retro gaming videos like recently and they're obviously active, I list them. I thought, yeah, there'll be as many to replace the ones that have gone. So removed about 200 and replaced new channels maybe 20 out of about 300. I've got a list of about 300 channels to go to, and about 20 were putting up videos. And I thought, wow, that's a bit severe, that's a bit alarming. What's going on here? It was interesting as well. I noticed of the channels, I mean, the ones that had gone, I don't know when they went. They're just because they're not there anymore. But of the ones who've just stopped making videos or have moved on to making videos about other things, the vast majority of them, it happened about 8 months ago, which is kind of round about when people were saying the community is dying. I'm not completely sure what I conclude from that, because from my perspective, in terms of the channels that I watch, things haven't changed remotely. It's exactly the same people doing the same things that I enjoy. And I pondered it for quite a long while, and the only thing I can conclude is, did the number of channels reach saturation point? There were so many that it got so hard for them to get noticed that a lot of people gave up, maybe. You see, I don't actually look on it as being a terribly bad thing that there has been some shrinkage, shall we say, in the community. I do know, having gone through lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of channels, to find ones that, yeah, I'm always looking for something new to subscribe to, something new to interest me, and there is an awful lot of, so I don't want to offend anyone, generic channels. And I wonder, you know, are these people who left the ones who looked and saw, wow, there's a lot of people doing this stuff and getting quite a bit of attention, I can do that, and then finding they didn't get instant attention, gave up. And if that's the case, what I really get from this is it's maybe the community itself is still fighting fit. I think that the channels that are now doing what they're doing are more likely to be people who are more committed, more passionate, more into the retro gaming and the making videos of it, rather than, dare I say, people jumping on a bandwagon. Yeah, that's how I'm looking at it. It's the only way I can look at it in a positive way, I think. If you were to just look at the numbers, it would be alarming and you would think, oh my god, things are dying. But I don't think that's the case. I think it's consolidation. I mean, I hate to use the term survival of the fittest. It's the survival of the most committed, I think, which basically means you get a better channel to watch. And maybe I'm completely wrong about all of that, and I do hope I haven't offended anyone who tried it and gave up because it didn't work out how they wanted or whatever. But it's kind of how I look at it. If I want to be positive, what we're left with is the best stuff. Maybe. I don't know, because I know we have lost some good channels. What are your thoughts on that? I'm not being incredibly eloquent with it, because I am just I'm thinking, I'm speaking my yeah, that was actually speaking what's going on in my head. It's just yeah, it sounds like that in there. It's kind of big bowl of sludge. I'm looking up, I'm not looking at the ceiling, I'm kind of looking up towards where my brain is, but my eyes won't go that far. Okay, different topic, and another one where I don't entirely know where I want to go with the topic, so this is probably going to be one of those slightly crap videos. A while ago I was asked by Gov859 if I run out of topics to talk about on a Friday Talkie, how about talking about the packaging on games, how it used to be, how it is now, the various different styles. And I'm not exactly going to do that, though I am grateful for the suggestion, because it did get me thinking along a certain other line. Current gen consoles, not the way Sony are trying to push things, and other console manufacturers trying to get it all downloaded, or with your DRM rubbish. Basically you can only play your game on one console, or only one person can use their ID on this console. I mean, the PSP Vita thing is getting quite disturbing, the things I'm hearing about that. And the way we're losing control of our games, the games that we pay for, they're not really ours anymore. We can't buy it and then do what we want with it, because they're imposing so many restrictions. I don't like that. Lots of people don't like that. And I'm thinking, alright, they're doing that to prevent piracy. Largely. A certain amount of it, I think, is greed. But they would say it's down to piracy. And piracy has always been a problem, right back to kids in the playground swapping tapes where they've just like stuck it in their Amstrad stereo and recorded from tape to tape. It's always been a problem. But now the publishers are getting quite aggressive, and I wonder if there isn't a different route that they could take that doesn't fuck us over, basically, restrict us in what we can do with games we paid for. And this maybe is where the packaging thing comes in. This is the example that comes to my mind. Commodore 64, Spirit of the Stones. That is bloody massive, and in it you've got two tapes. I mean, yeah, they're very small. You could fit them in a little double case thing, but you've got this. And I haven't played this game enough to know how much this matters for playing the game, but I suspect quite a bit. And then you get this. Great game, but most of the manual is, well, a good big chunk of it's foreign, a good big chunk of it's just full of that kind of nonsense that no one gives a crap about. Warnings and crap to stop them getting sued if you have a seizure and whatever. And you can play this without ever reading the manual. You could download, well, I dare say you can't download this, but you know, you could download a game like that, never need any packaging, never need the manual. I mean, I'm contradicting what I always say myself, in that I like games where you don't have to read a manual. But I'll tell you what, I would actually swap all this restrictive crap that they're throwing at us now and have a whopping great big book like that, if it meant they weren't giving us all this restrictive crap. You know, give us a big box, give us something that says, hey, you bought this and it's big and it's worth your money. That's worth your 30 or 40 quid, not this digital file that you can't see, that you can't do anything with and you can't move, and if your hard drive fails you've lost it and you've got to buy it again, or maybe download it again if it's still on the server because they might have lost the license. Outrun. Yeah. Another thing that comes to mind is maybe the format that it's stored on. Piracy wasn't a great big deal back in the Atari days, the Mega Drive days, because it came on cartridge. Now, I know cartridges completely went out of fashion, like the N64 did really badly because it was on cartridge, and well, they were really restrictive in how they, I mean, it was like, we will produce the cartridges, you will pay us to produce them for you, and you will pay us lots of money to do it. Yeah, it's stupid. Make it a standard, well, make it make it affordable. Who was it who was saying that? It was Sainted Magnus was talking about this with the PSP Vita and Sony's cartridge, well, memory card format thing they're using. And that's an interesting video. I do recommend watching that. And that kind of got me thinking along these lines. These kind of format cartridges don't cost a lot to produce if you produce enough of them. SD cards now are dirt cheap in massive, I mean, big sizes, big storage capacities. I mean, yeah, it would probably it would cost more to have a solid state media format that can hold as much of as a Blu-ray. That would cost more than a Blu-ray, but it would be harder to copy. And how about if they produced their games on this kind of card? I'm sitting here holding my hands like this, like there's a card there. They could probably still sell games for the same price on a format that costs more to produce, because they would lose less in piracy. Give us back cartridges, you know, whatever format you want to call them, solid state media, big capacity, bloody hard to copy, even if it's just because of the amount of storage on it. I know you got, you know, what is it, R4 things where you can basically use them as a adapter for sticking an micro SD card in and rip off your DS cartridges or something. But I'm sure they could do something, encryption. I'm sure it's feasible, and get rid of all this stupid restrictive bollocks. Because it took quite a long while, I think, for things like this to come out before it became really easy to pirate without doing the tape-to-tape. Cartridge stuff, ROM files for like Atari 8-bit, and I have to thank Mark, UK Retro Games, for sending me this. This is a Atari Max 8 megabit flash cartridge, and he sent me this, and it's chock full of Atari 8-bit games, so you will at some point see more of those. Thank you very much, Mark. I really do appreciate it, because I know these aren't cheap. Absolutely bloody awesome. Yeah, I don't know what that says about what I've been saying. I may be completely contradicting myself. Like I said, this is all completely off the top of my head and just pondering aloud, really. That's what I think. Give us hardware, solid state storage in some proprietary format that's cheap-ish, you know, with a big box and a big manual, so if someone does manage to rip it off, it still isn't going to be that useful without the stuff that comes with it. Make it necessary. I don't mean like a big box full of cuddly toys and little figurines and cigarette lighters and all the junk that they might give. I'm sure they don't give you cigarette lighters. I'm thinking of the Reservoir Dogs box set that I've got. But you know, none of the toys and goodies. Something that's necessary for the game. Yeah. Rambling entirely. This is what happens when I'm completely unprepared. At this point I would do a shout out, but like I said, I have had a strange week and my head has not been on gaming at all, really, so I don't have a shout out. I've got a little list of channels I do plan to shout out, where I've seen them, they've caught my eye, I've thought I like this, but I haven't watched enough of what they're doing to do them justice, so yeah, they're gonna have to wait a little while. Sorry about that, you people in the list who don't know that you're in the list. There are about 6. I'm just thinking now, is my hair, I left my hair a mess. I don't know what it looks like on camera now. Yeah, I'm going to shut up. I'm talking absolute twaddle. I'm not remotely happy with this particular talkie because I don't know what I'm talking about. Sorry about that. Thank you for watching.